Yo, what's good, y'all? We back at it on another great video on Jaimon U here today. Master of Social Work, week 3. We getting into it today with a real message for you all. I got 2 great tips that you're going to leave here today and you're going to feel a lot better about this journey, alright? So let's just go ahead and get into it. I remember being in grad school, man. My friends had things going on. Girlfriend, work, all these things happening, fraternity, and I ain't gonna lie, I was the man to pick up those tasks, pick up that priorities, pick up those extra responsibilities when it came to the fraternity on helping out, doing extra things, when it came to work, picking up extra shifts, when it came to going to parties and going to events and hanging out and going on doing all these great things and going on these expensive dinners and things like that. And it was an amazing time, but at the end of the day I realized that a lot of the things I was doing I didn't actually enjoy. Because I didn't want to. I just kept saying yes and yes and yes to things that I liked and they were okay, but they didn't truly serve me. And a lot of times you would say yes to these $200 dinners when that's really not how I wanted to spend that money. And a lot of times we do ourselves like that, where we keep saying yes and yes to things because of the lack of boundaries that we set for ourselves. Daring to set boundaries is having the courage to love yourself at the expense of disappointing others. Boundaries is loving myself over disappointing others. Because a lot of times we say no and no and no. We don't want to disappoint them, but at the end of the day, you got to look at what you're doing to yourself. You're saying yes to them, yet no to yourself. You're choosing them over you, and at the end of the day, you have to choose you. You have to be selfish to be selfless. If you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't keep doing things that you don't truly enjoy to do because you're doing a disservice to them. Be honest, and we have to do that. And starting to set boundaries is the first step to adulting, to real life, to really getting into it, because now we got too much going on. We got school, work, personal passions, and things we got to do. And guess what? Days pile up. That 2-3 hours, that one weekend adds up. You look up and a whole year went by. Every single time you say yes to something that costs money, you're saying no. You're limiting your opportunities. You're getting back. Every single time I said yes to a party, spending money on things that I know I didn't need, I said no to my dreams. I said no to a house. Even right now, I'm saving up money to buy a house. And yes, there's things I want to buy. There's things I want for sure. But every time I feed into these temptations, every time I go out to do these things, I'm prolonging my process to buy a house. I'm prolonging my blueprint to financial freedom. You need to be able to have the self-respect to say no to certain things, to say yes to yourself. And another way to be able to get to do this easier is by separating work from personal life, from school, and creating systems. And how you can create systems to separate this is by utilizing a handy-dandy calendar that you need to use, that you need when you're in school. Because I'm gonna be real, at this point in your life where you need systems. If you don't have systems, you're not going to be consistent on the things that you need to do. You need to be able to have certain days dedicated to my Masters of Social Work reading, a day dedicated to doing schoolwork. And what this creates for me is a stress-free system to be able to get school, work, and content done without overthinking, without stressing, without all these things, because I have systems. During my content time, I don't have to worry about my Master of Social Work reading because I have times to do those. I have times to set action and get those things done. I don't got to worry about the assignments. It's getting done. When I'm at work, I don't got to worry about, oh, I'm not going to be able to post a video today because I already got a system that's created. Now, limitation, this is not my actual schedule, but this schedule does create 8 hours of sleep. You wake up at a good time. You get your social work done. You work. The reason why my schedule looks like this is because I have the flexibility of creating my own schedule because I work with clients. So I try to offload the majority of my work stuff in the beginning of the week and my schoolwork stuff later on in the week. Now, something that I also am processing is possibly taking Mondays as just a school and planning day, and then also working sessions other days, but I'm still processing that right now. I do prefer to do the majority of the work of my work week, my therapy sessions on Monday, and then kind of like go as the week goes. But this is just kind of like a rough schedule of how you can create systems for yourself. And it's important because then on here you can track every single thing you need to do, and you can put things on your calendar for weeks in advance. On my main calendar, which I don't show because of confidentiality purposes, has all my assignments that I have due to the end of the semester. Now every single week, whether that be Thursday, Friday, the week before, or Sunday that week, I go ahead and just plan out my week, how my week's going to look, how exactly it's going to look, fit the gym in, fit in these little tasks that I got to do, whether it's schedule a vet appointment, whatever. I fit all these little things into my schedule, and then boom, I got a schedule for that week. Make sure you're also prioritizing time for rest. That's something I don't do. If you look at my main schedule, the Saturdays and Sundays are filled up, but that's just because I got goals and aspirations. And at the end of the day, when I really need it, I do take that time to rest. And I got my Saturday evenings, I guess. But at the end of the day, if you can create times to reset in my day. So I meditate before every session. So therefore, I don't get burnt out. Therefore, I don't really get as tired as a lot of people get, because I kind of have these little resets in the middle of the day. It's like if you're editing, you typing all day, you have to take breaks from typing. If you take a 10-minute break from, or if you take a 5-minute break from typing every 30 minutes, you're going to be able to type for a lot longer. But if you just typing, you might, your wrist is going to be shot out of there in about 2 hours. And then over time, you create wrist problems. So now I actually have wrist issues because I just keep going. So burnout is not only mental, but burnout is physical as well. I've literally burnt my wrist out from editing. As you can see on my channel, I run 3 different channels. It's a lot, but at the end of the day, that's what I wanted to get to, because you guys need to make sure that you have a schedule to be able to get these things done, because it's hard if you just have a bunch of things that you got to do and then you'll be procrastinating. Well, when should I do this? When should I do that? And sometimes you just need to do it. And that's what I catch myself doing. That's why I need systems. And I even procrastinate when I'm creating these systems. That's why I just say you just got to do it and go with the flow. Do what's best for you and try your best to just work your schedule and don't let your schedule work you. That's our video for today. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. This one's a little bit longer than I expected, but definitely I'm here to provide value, and I hope you guys got value from today. And keep tuning in if you like what you see, if you want to see more, and please hit the comments down below. Let me know what you guys want to see. Without further ado, baby, we out.